Welcome, 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 one and all. Everyone's here. Everyone made it. It's absolutely amazing. And Joseph, since you're here, do it.
Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio, everybody. Thanks for joining us live here tonight. Last week we had abnormally high ratings, and I just happened to not be here. So I wonder if there's any kind of coincidence there.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but it was an interesting, definitely an interesting time last weekend. We had a bunch of gremlins and poltergeists that came in and just tried to wreck the place. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Chaotic.
It was absolutely chaotic.
Oh man! All right, we got the Deuster. What's going on, brother? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, let's get everybody.
We got
in.
James Boggs. How are you? Larry Hose. I hope I said that right. Hose or House?
House, isn't it? I don't know.
Oh, we got Pat. Pat's here.
Pat's here.
Vault Boy. Yeah, we got Vault Boy, man. We sprung straight for Bethesda's wallet, and we said, "Here's all of our money. Let us have Vault Boy." So we got Vault Boy here with us. Adam Good, what's going on? Yep, James Boggs,
get some more. How we doing? In. Keep them coming, guys. Get out
Moth
there.
Mistress. Yes, we do have Vault Boy for a guest star. That is exactly right. I need to go get mine.
Share it.
We can have two and get sued twice.
share it out. And make sure everybody's in it. There are
I got it right.
There you go. There are people who are watching on Facebook, it looks like. So definitely make sure that you give it permission to to let it post. It's not going to post anything other than you.
Yeah, guys, like Ron was saying, make sure you don't get prompted automatically sometimes if you're on your computer watching, but you usually always get prompted when you're on your phone. It'll tell you that you're watching something on StreamYard, and if you want your hosts to see your stream, you have to give us certain permissions. If you guys go ahead and give those permissions, then your chat shows up in the feed, and we can see it and bring you on just like this right here. Boom, there's Deucer all over again. Howdy from Robertson County, Tennessee, home of the infamous Bell Witch.
Wow, we got a lot of people coming in.
So you guys can comment from Facebook, and it'll feed in just like that, and I'll be able to bring up your comments. We can have a little chat right there.
Yeah, let's get it shared out to a few more. Let's get the house full, and we're gonna get the show started. And yes, it's going to be a fun show. We got some very interesting stuff coming down tonight.
I agree with Pat. Where's your vault suit, Ron?
Well, I didn't know it was going to be, Fallout oriented until later, but I should have guessed because, there is big Fallout news, and we'll be talking about that too, because, man, I'm excited.
Yep.
I am beyond excited.
I have been so incredibly busy, and I have since quit the ye old GameStop, so I'm not in there my 2 days a week to get my discount. I missed out on whatever this news is, so I'm excited to hear it myself.
Well, they were listening somewhat apparently, and they gave us all kinds of really cool new stuff that's going to be coming into the game. There's actually a new rendition of Mothman.
Ooh.
Yep, there's a new rendition of Mothman.
Is this something else that they're going to freeze my Instagram account over?
I don't think so. Don't think so. No, I don't think so. This one looks a little bit more like the statue that's actually in the game, which kind of looks like the original statue. So probably not. It's probably not going to happen. You're probably good.
Yes, I don't know if Sky Daddy Matthew McConaughey can share the stage with Vault Boy. It's possible we might be able to get Sky Daddy McConaughey into the feed. I'll reach out. I was in a movie with him once, so we have this weird connection.
What?
Yeah, me and Sky Daddy McConaughey. We were.
You were not. Are you?
Yeah, I was in We Are Marshall. Yeah, I'm in like 4 or 5 scenes as like a background walker.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, now there's the big chant scene where they do. Yes, there's Sky Daddy McConaughey. He's right there. That's
there.
The legend that doesn't wear deodorant.
That's right. There you go.
So you call that 6 degrees of Sky Daddy?
Yeah, yes, that's what we're calling it now.
I think that's what it would be. Yes, absolutely, man.
So there's one point in time where I actually break the time and space continuum, in
You do that sometimes.
We Are Marshall, and I'm actually on the screen about 14 times at once.
What?
Yeah, they the big We Are Marshall chant standing up in the
yeah.
window, and everybody's like, "We are." So there was only 100
Yeah.
people there for that were paid extras, and
Yeah.
they superimposed us to fill out the entire Buzzkirk field. And
oh my God! So you're telling me they cloned you digitally and made more views?
Yes,
I
the
would
last thing
never
we
do
all
that.
needed.
I would never even do
You hear that? I just heard Wayne screaming.
I think I did too. That was what that was.
I think so.
Sorry, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah.
That could be worse than that whole cloning thing from the beginning. I mean, that's
Facebook's user says, "What up, Joe?" Okay, Facebook user.
Hello, Facebook user.
We can't see you. You need to give permissions to StreamYard to let us see your account, and then we can see your face, and then we can thank you in the right way.
Yep. What is the right way to thank someone?
That's when you say, "May Sky Daddy McConaughey bestow blessings upon you."
Ah, okay.
Thank you. All right.
Okay. So we have a very interesting show tonight.
Me too, man. Me too.
Very interesting show tonight. We are joined by another one of our areas. What would
premiere?
Yeah,
I would use the word premiere.
When you say, yeah, because a lot of work. He does a lot of work. It's not really Vault Boy, if you haven't guessed.
Dun dun dun.
What? Hey what? Get out of here.
I hope Joe doesn't want a refund.
This is absurd.
All right, give me my money back, Bethesda.
Good Lord.
How's everybody doing?
We've got Jimmy here with us from Spooky Appalachia. Those shirts are great, by the way. Ron still hasn't given me mine, but I love the design.
He still hasn't given it to you?
Yeah, I forgot. We were even together, and I forgot to bring it.
At his house too, and didn't get it.
Why didn't you remind me?
Completely forgot.
We do this though, man. It's normal. Like if we need something, it's like it takes forever to. It's all good.
But
anyway,
but yeah. So we got everybody here now, and do we have anybody else joining us tonight? Is it going to be more of a random call in, or do we have Jimmy?
I think that's it.
Okay.
As far as it goes, yeah. Unless somebody wants to, if we come in, listen, literally, this is your show. So if you want to tell your story, just say, "Hey, raise your hand like you're in class,"
and we will find you and send you a link.
Yeah, we'll get you a link, and you can come on and tell your story in person if you like.
Yeah,
this is your show. This is
and you can use your cell phone to do that. The cell phone is perfectly meshed with this app, so we can bring you right in on your cell phone.
Yeah, spared no expense, right? Yeah.
Moth Mistress says, "Yay, Spooky Appalachia," and Pat says, "Bethesda, no real." Right? That is 100% how I can see that going, but it would be a little more glitchy than that.
No refunds. That's so funny. So, so let's get to introducing our guest co-host here today. Wait, what?
So we lost Brandon.
Oh, that happens.
That happens from time to time.
It's okay. We're going to continue like it's.
Yeah, we're just going to pretend it didn't happen. So Jimmy, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. Tell us about all of your amazing awesomeness. And
it's definitely weird being on this end of things after watching you guys and listening for so long. Well, I'm Jimmy from Spooky Appalachia. If you haven't heard of us, we're a YouTube channel and a blog site. We deliver weekly paranormal stories, mostly sent in by you guys, the fans. I bet there's a couple of you here now. They're mostly sent to us over social media, just like Wild and Weird gets them. And we read them out and, feature them on the blog and the YouTube. In addition to that, we travel around Appalachia and film some of these locations from the stories. We just did Great Bend Tunnel. Great Bend? Yeah. And that was a really cool video. We got some drone footage. We flew in and something knocked the drone in the video. I don't know if you guys saw. We have no idea what it was, but it was pretty cool getting that. As most people know, that it's fenced off, so we flew the drone into the tunnel. It's a pretty creepy tunnel too. If you guys have seen it, it's just
talking about the
darkness.
Big Bend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we always make it a point to visit Big Bend anytime we go over there. It's normally where we'll take our dog to walk her before we make the run out to the farm. And I drove Ron out there, I think one time, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
We went out to the statue and went out to the tunnel.
We did.
It's got its own environment. You can always feel the cool air blowing through, even if it's 90 degrees in the middle of summer. You can feel the cold air coming through the tunnel. And there's life all inside of the tunnel too. It's wild. Like there's that stream that runs through. So there's tons of salamanders and frogs, and the frogs just sound eerie, to say the least. Like when the spring peepers start going off,
like right about now, you mean?
Yeah, right about now, because the echoes through the tunnel, and it's just like this big reverberation chamber.
Is there always ice inside the tunnel, no matter what the temperature is? Because I've been there twice. One time was in the spring, and it was like, 70 degrees, and there was ice?
It just depends on how cold it has
That's
been
crazy.
around the area. It's so deep in the mountain. Like once we get times where it's Teresa says that my grandma grew up in Talcott, so we try to stop and see the tunnel and statue every few years. That's actually where our farm is, and where Ron and I have had some really weird experiences right there in the middle of Talcott.
There's some stuff out there.
James says, "Howdy, Kentucky Ghost." Everybody's saying hi there in the thing. But we're that tunnel is like it stays like 60 degrees in there during the summer. So like
you can feel the cold air coming out even when it's warm.
So it takes like through the spring, it takes forever to warm it up in the middle, because there's so much earth on top of it that ice does stay in the tunnel for a very long period of time. Like it'll be normally by June though, it's all.
It's one of the cooler locations I've been to. Let's see, we filmed St. Albans, not to be confused with St. Albans in West Virginia, if you guys have heard of that. It's been on some ghost hunting shows. Bradford, Virginia, Pulaski, Virginia, the Randolph House, of course the museums, the Wood Booger Statue and Grill. Those were really cool to go see and film. Have you guys ever been to Norton, Virginia?
No, we hadn't been down there. Like I've been there back in the day when I had Rite Aids in that area, but like I haven't been in years.
No, the grill's really, really nice. They have a huge Wood Booger burger. Huge.
Oh man.
It's got pulled pork, a couple patties on it, bacon. Okay, I'm going to stop before I make people hungry. But that
sounds like a challenge. Is what
it sounds like we need to go down there.
It seems like it should have been a challenge. I actually ate it all. I couldn't finish the fries, but and then the whole place is decked out in Bigfoot decorations. They've got wall art.
Awesome.
They've got statues all over the inside. A fountain. And they've got some shirts and stuff you can buy too. It's really neat.
That is cool.
I'm telling you, the Wild and Weird Cafe might be the next evolution of things. You never know.
Hey, there you go. I'll come to it. If it's in Beckley, I'll come to it.
Yeah, we probably won't be in Beckley. It'll probably be closer this way. But
is it going to have a TR3 burger?
It'll have a TR3D burger.
Yeah, TR3D.
D. No one here knows what we're talking about right now,
Yet.
but it's okay.
Just actually tomorrow, guys.
Actually, I've actually got a trailer for you guys.
Oh boy!
If you want to see what we're going to be doing this week, I'll play that after a while. For right now, though, let's continue on in our episode, shall we? So, do we have any of these amazing listeners' stories? And again, anyone out there wants to send your stories in, go ahead and you can join us right here and tell your story. We'll send you a link. We have a couple that we're going to be reading off, but if you want to come on and tell your own, we'll do that right now. What's Pat say? No TR3D
burgers, please. It does, like, if all we got to do is move one of those over, and it's the turd burger.
I thought that's what it said at first. I was like, "What? Did you guys really bring that up?"
Yeah, we'd have to do that for sure. See, for those of you guys that don't know, I'm a classically trained chef, so it's a reality. It's a possibility that we could actually pull that off one day.
Well, I mean,
it's the natural order, right?
Never know, man. You never know what's going to happen.
You said 5 and dimes were just the best, the golden era of stores. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, maybe you can rent out the space of GameStop when they go out of business.
They're probably not that far off, are they?
No, it is not. They're actually completely off topic from the regular stuff. Anybody who pays attention to like stock market stuff and everything, they're doing weird over there, but the business is like crazy weird.
You're hired, Teresa.
Yeah. Gladly waitress at the Wildmere Cafe if you need that is might be a possibility. But the just the way they're structuring and doing things right now, it looks like they're structuring to try to make themselves sellable.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
yeah. But anyway, back to the weird stuff.
Back to the show, man. The show's about strange encounters, weird stuff, sightings, etc., personal accounts, anything we want to talk about, really, as far as that goes.
I know that Brandon hawked one over on the Facebook group.
I saw that.
Do you have that up to read?
Yep, I actually copy and pasted this so I wouldn't lose it.
Sweet, there we go.
That's the way we do it.
So this was from Beth A. Murphy. She said, I have another paranormal experience in my apartment. Me and my brother-in-law were sitting in my apartment the other day when my old cell phone started randomly playing Nirvana out of the blue. And the crazy thing about it is the phone has no service on it at all. There's no SIM card in it either. It isn't even hooked up to the Wi-Fi because she factory reset everything on it. That's
we actually gave many questions.
Yeah,
we questioned her over this, and man, I don't know what to say about this one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it should have happened because there was no SD card in it, along with there not being a SIM card. There was no SD, so the internal memory practically didn't exist after the reset.
Spirit's got some good taste in music, though.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe it was a Teen Spirit.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
It could have been a Teen Spirit. You're right.
Smelled like it anyway. But yeah, but no, for real. There are those
really
cases.
Weird.
Well, there's the cases where we do have obviously
burn the phone.
Yep.
Burn the phone. Where we do have electronic devices that have been manipulated and changed by exposure to some of these things, and outside of EVPs, a lot of people think that it's just EVPs, but it's not. There is instances of like TVs coming on, phones doing weird things, so it's not beyond. Yeah, and music is always.
Yeah, I've had flashlights lose complete batteries and my phone before. Well, I mean, one was while filming one of the videos.
Yep.
She also added that the phone was charged, and her mother-in-law's ashes sit in the living room.
Oh.
See, I wonder if her mother-in-law was a Nirvana fan, or if she just
I mean,
just trying to get her attention.
See, that's what I'd like to know. And I think that if you could just verify that, man, that little bit of data right there could be, that could be it. That could be the very validation. What song it was, were they a Nirvana fan? Maybe.
I've always heard that keeping someone's remains in your house is a big no-no for.
Nah, people do it all the time.
Oh.
I mean, literally all the time. It's more common than you would believe. Not to mention pets, and it's really common.
I have a friend of mine that just collects family members.
Really?
Yeah, he's got the ashes of like I think 4 or 5 of his different family members. And there was one time, it was a really funny story about it. First time I ever went to his house, like he was being goofy and he pulled out his dad.
Oh, wow.
And he was showing me the bag and all that stuff. And I was like, okay. And then like, as I was going to leave, I was wearing sandals and there was like some dust and stuff on my sandals. And I went,
Oh.
Is that your dad? He was like, no, this thing. And he made a really funny comment. He said, no, this bag's actually kind of pressurized. It's made to be one of those ones you go release somewhere. So he's like, if we drop it on the ground, it's just going to pop like a can of biscuits. So it wouldn't be wouldn't just be like on your sandal. It would be all over the wall.
You know, a lot
That
of
would be
places,
the worst party favor ever.
a lot of places, yeah, it's a great Christmas cracker.
Right.
There.
That was my question too, Moth Mistress. So I got some of the names of the folks over on the Facebook side. We got Timothy Wood out here. Timothy Wood, what's going on, man? And then Mike Deskins is out there watching too. You guys remember, if you'll head over to YouTube or you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and like the video if you haven't already, and all that stuff helps us get out there further.
Oh yeah, definitely like, share, and definitely subscribe so you can catch up with these things. We've got a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out here really soon, and you want to stay up to date with that.
That was if he gets mad at them, he can kick their ashes out. That's that right there. That is gold.
That's good.
That is gold, Deucer.
That's good, Dewey. That's good. What else we got over here?
James Bogg says, I heard my dad, born 1906, talk about boogers. Had no idea what he was talking about. Bigfoot. Yep. Yeah, that's a really common thing. In the western portion of Virginia and all of West Virginia, it's kind of the name for Bigfoot. And I'm always wearing this hat. That's my wood booger hat. And then we host Wood Booger Jamboree as well, which is coming up here in May. But it is a really common old kind of out of phase name for Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I heard was it was kind of a play off the Boogeyman.
Yeah, it was. It originated with the name the Booger Man, Boogeyman coming over, and it was never about like a demon or a monster. It was always this entity, this wild man in the woods, the booger, so to speak.
Pab says, remember, if you're seeing what looks like a humanoid ghost, you may be suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. So rule that out first. That's a very valid point. That's a great bit of advice right there for you guys.
Yeah. Just go outside and breathe first.
Get back and check.
Moth Mistress says that was quality dad humor from Deuster there. Have to agree. Adam Good says, you have to take the bag of ashes out and mess it around or it becomes a brick. Many of stories of people taking the ashes to a lake and it makes a kerplunk. Chipping away. Grandma with the butter knife.
Oh my gosh.
This is fantastic.
Well, people don't realize, but cremains, they basically are, if they get moisture in them, it's cement.
Turns into concrete.
It's kind of cement,
Yeah.
Ashes is an ingredient in concrete.
I've worked with them enough to tell you you can, yeah.
That's one reason why they also mix so well into resins. And
resins,
stuff.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Is because of that quality.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So over there for Jimmy, do you have any tales you want to share with us tonight?
Yeah, I picked out 2 of my favorite ones that people have sent in, and if you people listening ever want to send in one to Spooky Appalachia, we'll be sure to feature it. This one is an interesting one. It was sent to us by a fan named Clifton. He had a encounter in Virginia in 1974 near Troutville. Do you guys know where that's at?
Yeah, I know where Troutville's at.
It's near Roanoke, Virginia.
Yep.
I believe. All right. Okay. So it was a late summer night, about 11:30 p.m. in August 1974. I was 17 years old at the time. I was driving to my home in Nace, Virginia. It's located between Troutville and Buchanan. I was coming home from my girlfriend's house in Salem, Virginia on Route 11, passing through Troutville. Coming into Troutville, I had noticed a relatively low lights and thought it might be a plane making its approach to the Woodrum Field in Roanoke. All of a sudden, I realized that the lights did not seem to be moving, and I began to slow down until I came to a dead stop right in the middle of the town in front of the old Troutville Elementary School. That's when I noticed a dark triangular craft about 150 feet above me with a bright white light on each corner. My anxiety was raising fast, and I felt the hair on my arms and neck standing up. I rolled down my window on my 1963 Oldsmobile and leaned very far out and looked straight up. I was immediately impressed at the size of the craft, as it was at least as long and as wide as a football field. I also noticed there were no engine or motor sounds, but only a deep humming coming from the craft. It was so immense that I could actually feel the humming in my body. Now I was completely at a loss at what I was seeing or what I should do. I had a gun, and a quick thought passed in my mind that I should get it, but thankfully that thought went away as quickly as it
thankfully I didn't start an intergalactic war.
Yeah. This is when the fear crept in. I realized how close the craft was, and there had been no cars coming from either direction in the short time that all this had transpired. Erratic thoughts started to go through my mind. Would it try to hurt me, or even worse, would it try to take me? I quickly ducked back into my car, rolled up the window, and stepped on the gas. Actually floored it and exited Troutville, heading north on Route 11 towards my home in Nace. Now my 63 Oldsmobile was what I called a tank due to its size and being made up almost completely of steel. Route 11 is a 4-lane highway, 2 lanes in each direction, and I pegged the speedometer at 120 miles per hour, and I was cutting corners. I could see the craft was very low and right behind me, following as I sped along. I was very frightened. When I came to the turnoff on my right to go to Nace on a back country road, I noticed another car coming up from the opposite direction. We passed one another as I slowed down and turned off of Route 11, and the other car was proceeding towards Troutville. It was now that I noticed that the craft stopped following me and started following the other car back towards Troutville. While I was glad it was no longer following me, my fear had not subsided. I continued to speed the rest of the way home. Upon entering the front door to my house, I saw that my mom and dad were still up, and immediately they noticed the state I was in. I told them that what happened, and I was sure they were going to think I was nuts. But my dad said that he had seen several things in the sky out there where we lived and was not surprised by my story. 48 years have passed since the night, and I still remember it like it happened last night. I went to spend 20 years in the Army and only shared this story with about 10 people in that amount of time. I never talked about it a lot because I did not want people to give me the looks and hear the comments that I feared would come my way. I have never made the judgment on whether the craft was alien or something from this world. I personally believe it was something from another world. The government of our country has finally admitted that there are UFOs, but they have not commented any further. I believe they know very much more about these things, but for some reason they do not want to share it with the American people.
Dude, what year was that from?
I think 1974.
Yeah, 74, predated by seven or 8 years. The Withville flap.
Oh my. No, it predates a lot of flaps. It predates Belgium. It predates a lot of those, and it is literally, right in that same time frame when I had my first sighting. That started this whole crazy thing. 75, 76 era. So
Is that the one you photographed?
No, that was a different one.
Oh, okay.
That was in 93.
Oh, gotcha.
93, 94. That is amazing and very, very par for the course. Another prophetic thing. You had no idea, but that is what this week's episode of the podcast is about.
Is the Black Triangles. That's why whenever you started reading off the Black Triangle episode thing, like event,
you gotta be kidding me.
I'm like,
want to see what I'm talking about? This is what I'm talking about.
All around the globe, and for years, witnesses have been reporting large black triangle-shaped craft floating over their cities without making a sound, and then speeding away. Usually, these sightings are explained away as natural phenomena or aircraft information. Some believe these are modern phenomena linked to super-secret military aircraft development, such as the often quoted TR-3B. But there are ancient accounts which seem to show that these large triangular vessels may have been traversing our skies for ages. We look at several popular cases and discuss what could be behind the mystery of the black triangles on this episode of Wild and Weird Radio.
Drops tomorrow.
Catch it on audio and in video format, but you definitely want to jump in and see the video side over on YouTube because we're going to be plugging in various images, articles, things of that nature.
I love watching I used to listen on Spotify when I had to drive into work, but I started watching on the YouTube, and I don't think I'd go back because you miss so much if you're just listening in,
Yeah, you do.
We definitely add a little more splash on the YouTube side of it now. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but YouTube just launched their own podcast section specifically for podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can actually you have a tab over there now. All of our stuff has already moved to that. So you guys will be able to find us there, obviously. And the theory is that they are going to be their own podcast provider in the near future. That's kind of what they're thinking.
That'll be great. Mm-hmm. So Pat's saying if aliens are able to travel across the galaxy to get here, there's no need to fear them because you are powerless to stop them. That is true.
That's absolutely true, my friend. But we also don't know if they're traveling from anywhere other than here. They could be here.
But there's still a chance to get into the breeding program.
But there's still a very good chance. No, there's still a very good chance that they're using an incredible technology that we have no hopes of ever understanding, much less defeating. So, yeah, you're absolutely right, man. This whole fear thing. There's a gnat that keeps flying around here. This whole fear thing is just absolutely nonsense to me.
Yeah, like I mean, I understand the fear from one aspect because it is kind of scary thinking that like there's literally nothing we can do if they are a super advanced civilization from across the galaxy and they made it here. Like seriously, there isn't anything we could do. It's just kind of like, well,
nope.
Here we go. Let's see how this works out.
Nope. And as the news have showed this past week, we're starting to focus on the signals now.
Yeah.
Which is exactly how it has to happen. Anyway, so does anyone else out there have any wonderful stories to tell? Because that's going to be a hard one to top. I mean, this has probably got my vote as the best story of the night so far.
Give us a good Bigfoot story. Come on. I want a good Bigfoot one. Come on.
Yeah. Come on. You guys, you were giving us some Bigfoot stories last week. Come on. Who wants to come on and tell a Bigfoot story? Because, we can tell Bigfoot stories.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's pretty much already heard our Bigfoot stories, but, there's probably new people here who haven't. Anyway. We got Spooky.
All right. Well, I was gonna pull one from the website real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So
there you go. Do that.
Let's see. We're gonna head over to our Google Earth app and hit the.
There's one for Joe. Has Bigfoot ever been spotted in the Michigan area?
Mm-hmm.
There have been. There's a Michigan Bigfoot page is dedicated just to that. Like, there's only a small portion of that state, in my opinion, that would even be close to having the proper habitat, and that is up in the Upper Pen.
We have a Facebook user that says that they have not heard our Bigfoot story. See, right there. So there's one. There's one. So we'll circle back around on that.
All righty. There was here's one I'll share with you guys. We haven't shared it for quite some time. I remember telling it on the podcast about 2 years ago, but just in the audio format. I don't think it's ever been on this way. But the Boy Scout trip that I was actually on, and it happened right after Ron and I had an incident in Talcott.
August 21st.
Yep,
2020.
So it'd be 3 years ago. We were out with some Boy Scouts, or I was out with some Boy Scouts. I'm a master naturalist, and I was teaching a biodiversity and creek ecology course to the Boy Scouts. And we were kind of just doing our thing. I was running through the normal procedures to go through and classification of, these little invertebrates and such in the creek, classification of vertebrates, classifications of plants and why the plants were growing, where they were growing, and all this stuff. And we get to the middle point near where they've been doing some repairs over on a old well site that had been capped. And it busted, and they had some issues, and they were going back out to recap the well. And we were hanging out there, and the kids were doing their thing. It was like a 30-minute free time where the kids were going to go collect different specimens, bring them back, and we're going to do an actual identification project. Then we heard this really loud rock clack, and it sounded like a handgun. It was so loud, but it wasn't quite. Like the adults were taken back by it, and they were looking at me, and they were making like this signal, like, was that a gun? And I was like, no, nobody should have a firearm over this way. We were the only ones out on that trail. We'd actually kind of had it set apart for the Boy Scouts that weekend anyway, because they were camping at the base of that trail. And we heard the rock clack again, and then it quit. Everything was fine. And I was familiar with what we were doing, because this is also doubles as one of our research areas, right? So I'd heard this before here. This wasn't a foreign event, and I'm just kind of like, is it now that I tell the Boy Scouts that I'm a Bigfoot researcher and we start breaking it down, or do we wait until later? And so we were basically going about trying to figure out how to classify this stuff, and then all of a sudden a tree comes down. And it was a big dead tree. There was no wind blowing, and I watched the tree go smash, and I'm like, oh man. So we're hanging out there. The kids were like, whoa, that's weird. And I was like, yeah, that's weird. And then another one comes down about 3 or 4 minutes later, and I'm like, oh, we gotta do something, because this is already pushing my limit so far out of the realm of normal probability that these things can't happen, because trees fall dead all the time. Dead trees fall in the forest all the time. Mm-hmm. But we had rock clacks, and then the third tree comes down, and I visibly see this like black silhouette do one of these motions, but from the side. So it was like this, and then go back and up into the forest, up into the laurels. And I was just like, all right, it's time to go, guys. Let's wrap this up. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move to we're not going to go to the next stage of this operation. We're going to actually go back to base camp, and we're going to look around some of the stuff there, because I don't want a tree falling on us. And they were like, okay. And the parents were like, and the scoutmasters were like, this is weird. What is going on? So we get back to the campfire, and we're doing the thing where we do the finish identification course there. And so about an hour and a half, 2 hours passed at that point. And we're sitting there talking, and one of the kids says, so what was going on back there? And I was like, well, I asked the scoutmasters, have they already completed their ribbon course? Like, have they got their merit badge and all that's done? They're like, oh yeah, they've satisfied all the stuff for that. That's good. And I was like, okay, because I'm probably going to lose all credibility with you guys right now. I said, so I do this stuff with the DNR, but I'm also a Bigfoot researcher, and what we experienced was very Bigfoot-like. I'm not going to say that we were encountering or had a very near encounter with a Bigfoot, but there was something happening in the forest that was a little out. And I wanted to go ahead and bring everybody back. I don't think there was any kind of major threat or anything, but I just felt like we should kind of bring everybody back in. And so suddenly everything shifts. They start telling me all this stuff that they had heard the night before, different sounds, and now the whole demeanor of the group changed. All the kids are amped. They're like, oh, and like 1,000 Bigfoot questions you can imagine started coming across. And it turned into a really, really fun afternoon as well as morning. Because I had a good time out with the kids teaching the ecology course. But then having some activity going on was just a bonus. We got the legendary Amy Boo with us tonight. How you doing, Ames? Good to see you. Glad you're with us. And it was a good time. It was interesting. The kids weren't freaked out about it. I was worried about some of the kids getting kind of scared because some trees got possibly pushed over. But the rock clacks were what was the thing that was was a very distinct kind of event. Beth Duncan's with us. She's the one saying, hey there. How you doing, Beth? Good to see you. And it was a really good time. I mean, overall, it wasn't a negative experience. The kids probably sparked some. Actually, we did spark some interest because a few of those kids wound up coming to Wild and Weird Con, and they went to Woodbugger Jamboree, and it was really cool having that experience because it did spark some interest in the Bigfoot phenomena with those kids.
Well, you have to remember, man. Usually, it's the parents or the adults that get more freaked out about this stuff than the kids do.
The adults were really freaked out, and the adults were like, "Do you really think there's a Bigfoot out here?" And I was like, let me go to my truck. And because I had some casts that we had pulled like a couple weeks prior that were still in the carrying case, with all the bubble wrap around them to keep them safe. And so I was like, sure, let's go ahead. And I started showing them the Bigfoot casts. I had bear casts with me there too. And I was showing them the difference between the bear and the Sasquatch and what you like, there are some similarities. And I showed them the double step we had.
Double step. Yeah.
And I said, a lot of people will mistake this. I mean, this is for a Bigfoot footprint, but here we go. This is, I want you guys to see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it either. Mm-hmm. You see where the toes are. It clicks. You've got it, Amy Boo says, oh my gosh, Woodbugger Jamboree. I want to go. Yeah, Amy, it's a blast. Come on. It's not like a typical Bigfoot event. We put this on for the community. It's a big time for local economic growth there. For
very small community, and it really helps everybody.
The local artisans come out, and the local food providers will come out, and they set up, and we just have a good time. We do a couple little talks over under a shelter where we show casts and do a couple little Bigfoot talks, but it's nothing fancy. We're just have a good time. Last year we had about 1,000 people come out, and it was a blast. And it's happening again May 20th of this year, and we can't wait. So Emily Wills says, "Oh, Boy Scouts get the coolest experience. The only good thing I got out of Girl Scouts was I won a sea turtle stuffed animal with a zipper pouch for selling cookies." And then I see Amy down there. She says Girl Scouts, she takes Girl Scouts out bigfooting and camping. That is awesome.
That's cool.
And she does the bushcrafting stuff with them as well. It's great. The girls love that kind of stuff, and I don't know why they don't do that more often. I know that Charlie out at the Kentucky Bigfoot Research, he takes out Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts all the time doing stuff too. Charlie Raymond,
Yeah.
and he does a lot with them. And then Amy does it up there in her neck of the woods. And we've gotten some contacts with the local scout troops here, and we've told them we could do stuff with them anytime. So yeah, it's we're looking forward to doing some more with them.
Running down that list, we got a lot of people commenting.
Alexander Graphic says, "What happens at the Woodburger Jamboree? It's just a big old party."
Hey, what goes on at Woodburger Jamboree? It stays at Woodburger Jamboree.
It's food, fun, music, activities. It's just a big Bigfoot party. And
that's exactly what it is. It's a Bigfoot party.
We've got a bunch of vendors will come out and sell their stuff. A bunch of local vendors, especially.
Incredible.
But we do open it up to outside vendors that aren't from that immediate community, and they've done really well last year, and everybody had a good time.
There's food. It's a lot of fun.
Where is this at? This is in Racine, West Virginia, is where we hold it at John Slack Park, May 20th. Man, I got to go this year. Pat says food was really good. It really was good. And then Amy Boo, what town is the Jamboree? Again, it's Racine, West Virginia, John Slack Park. I'll send you a link to everything, Amy. I'll send it to you on Facebook here in a little bit. Then another one from Google Earth. Actually, Kelly, my wife said she could share a story. I'll see. Kelly, if you're listening, you're good to go to share a story. Do you want me to send you a link, or do you want to share it through text?
Check with Dewey also. I think he's back there.
Joe, where can I send you a true ghost story?
Yeah.
Deuster, you can send it to Facebook, or you can just jump on. I can send you a link through Facebook, and we can bring you right into the feed.
Hey, look, I found one of my erasers from way back when because when I was an artist of old. It just happens to be a little triangle. Look, it's like,
Look, I have that same eraser, but Rowan ate one of the triangles.
Well, this is a TR3B eraser.
Oh,
there we go. So Kelly was saying, not Bigfoot related, but if you need a story, I could tell a story of the time something threw my finger across the room threw a figure across the room at the apartment after we came back from
finger is a whole different thing, man.
Yeah, I know. I was like, threw her fingers.
A horror story. That's not a tale of the wild and weird.
Amy says she's going to try to go. It's now on my bucket list. If you don't know, Amy has this bucket list of stuff that she wants to do, and she has notoriously checked these things off the list, so much so as to go on out and hung out with the Olympic Project. She's a member of the honorary member of the Olympic Project.
Oh, wow.
And has gone out. She actually helped with the breakdowns and separations of the nesting material, which was like huge. That's like one of the biggest thing to happen in modern Bigfooting, and she got to be a part of it. And I'm so envious of that.
Dude, you got to unearth a T-Rex before.
That's true. I did get to unearth the T-Rex.
I think
that was
you guys
really cool.
Are probably pretty
from Hell Creek, no less.
Yeah, Hell Creek Formation.
So. Yep.
Wow. Jealous.
Yeah, the Amy's speaking at Sasquatch Triangle Conference that weekend, and it really is an awesome event. We've been meaning to make it to Sasquatch Triangle for the last 2 years, but there's always been something going on, and this year we try to do it on the same day every year with Woodbooger, just to keep it like reserved with the city or with the county. But yeah, we're really hoping to get up to go. They had asked us to come speak and wanted us to come up and vend this year, and then have a speak next year. Couldn't be in the cards because we already had Woodbooger scheduled way out, like a year out in advance. hopefully, hey, we'd love to have you next year. If you want to come down, let me know in advance, and you can do one of your talks. We'll set you up with a booth, and you can do one of your Bigfoot talks and take one of our spots.
Yeah, right.
It's a good time. You'd enjoy yourself. You'd like the kids. There's a ton of kids that come out because it was started because we do a lot with the local school there in Comfort, West Virginia, which is the town next door, and it's Sherman Elementary, and we do a lot with them every year. And they were saying, "Oh man, we wish there was something like Mothman or something like this event and this event that would take place here in our town. Everybody else always goes everywhere. We never have anything here." So we're like, problem solved. We can do it. We'll make it happen. So we did. And it was great. The kids loved it. It was a huge success for everybody. And the community support was great. Deuster says, I sent it in a Facebook message. He's still working on my webcam. Okay. Amy, she'll come next year as long as it doesn't get eaten by a grizzly this summer. I wish I could go this summer, Amy. I want to go so bad, but it's not in the cards for me this year. We don't have the funding for all of it.
There's always Wild and Weird Con,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Amy's actually on my checklist for Wild and Weird Con for this year or next year.
Oh, cool.
But let's see. Okay, Deucer sent it through Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and jump over there.
I don't know. I think Alexander's Graphics says, the entity's throwing somebody the finger is probably
right.
That's a book. I'm pretty sure. Brandon, you need to write it. So,
if you're
Deucer says,
your ghost is stone cold.
Yeah,
I got his report here. It says
go ahead.
He called it Bubba's last visit. In early 1971, I had a close friend who we all called Bubba. Bubba wasn't his real name, but all of his family and friends called him that. Bubba was special friend, you see. Bubba had a muscular dystrophy, and he had been confined to a wheelchair for many years. Sadly, I first met Bubba during his last year of life, although I had gone to school with his sister since first grade. Bubba and his family were big into Citizens Band radio and had been for many years. In fact, my very first conversation with Bubba was over a cheap old walkie-talkie we had rigged up with an oversized antenna. Walkie-talkies weren't supposed to talk that far, which was about 3 miles. But I guess fate played in hand Bubba and I talking that day. I don't have any other explanation. Anyway, after that initial contact, Bubba and I became close friends, and I went to see him several times a week and was always amazed at his cheery disposition despite his physical handicap. His radio knobs had been replaced with T-handles so his hands could manipulate them and that he could switch through the frequencies while seated in his wheelchair. Bubba was also an inspiration to everybody who knew him and all of his friends. A few months into our friendship, Bubba was hospitalized with bronchial pneumonia, which was very dangerous for his physical condition. His prognosis was not good, and Bubba got worse each passing day. One night at work, I got the dreaded phone call telling me that Bubba was about to pass. If I wanted to see him alive, I'd better get to the hospital quick. I made it in time, and just as Bubba drew his last breath while I stood by his side holding his hand, a couple of days later, he was laid to rest in Memorial Gardens in Springfield. Bubba's parents asked my dad if we had anywhere they could store Bubba's wheelchair, as it held too many painful memories for them to look at. Sitting empty at his radio desk, Dad picked it up and brought it to our house, storing it in an unused bedroom upstairs, which was across the stairway or accessed by stairway behind a door in my bedroom. We thought nothing more about it until one night. I went to bed as usual, and about that time I got settled in good. The door to my bedroom flew open and a cold breeze filled the room. At this point, I just thought the wind was to blame. As I started to get up close to the door, something sat down on the side of my bed. Thinking it was my brother walking in his sleep, I took my foot and attempted to boot him off my bed. That's a good brother of you. Is exactly what you do to sleepwalkers. But to my surprise, there was nothing there. I looked at the side of the bed and I saw an impression of someone sitting there, but there was no one there that I could see. I attempted to scream, but I was too terrified to make a sound. I hid my head under the covers, unable to move. Finally, after that, it felt like an eternity. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, which in reality was probably only a matter of minutes or seconds, whoever or whatever it was that got up from my bed, I could not hear the floorboards creaking as it made its way across the floor towards my brother's bed. Oh, no, I could hear the floorboards creaking as it made its way across the floor towards my brother's bed, where it again sat down. I managed to force my eyes open, and I could see the same impression on the side of his bed. His head was also under the covers. I do not know exactly how long it sat there, but a short time later, it moved from the bed and made its way towards the stairway door, knocking down the ladder to the top bunk bed where my youngest brother lay sleeping. What happened next was the most terrifying. Whatever this entity was, it eventually wanted to get upstairs in the worst way. It scratched on the door to the stairway for several minutes while I lay frozen, terrified in my own bed, unable to move. The noise awoke my youngest brother, and he began crying. After that, my brother and I finally found our voices, and we joined in. Daddy came running into the room, and we told him that what had happened, and we wound up sleeping in their room the remainder of the night. The next door to us lived an old black man named Johnny Fort. We kids called him Uncle Johnny, as he was a common practice at the time. Every morning, he was up before daybreak, feeding his livestock, and Daddy went out to the car to go to work that morning. He saw Uncle Johnny at the barn, and during their conversation, the subject of the previous night came up. Daddy told him what we had witnessed, expecting him to laugh at such a tall tale. Instead, Uncle Johnny was dead serious, and he told Daddy what we needed to do. That boy's spirit was attached to the wheelchair, and it was trying to get back to it. What you need to do is leave the door open so the spirit can get back to that wheelchair. Trust me, if you don't, that boy's ghost will haunt you from now on. We decided to do just what Uncle Johnny said. That night, we propped open the stairway door, and all was quiet. Nothing happened until we went to bed. About the time that I thought nothing was going to happen, the bedroom door abruptly opened, and the temperature of the room dropped dramatically as whatever it was came into the room. Again, I was terrified. This time, I thought I didn't sit on my bed. I could hear it. I could sense it. It stood at the side of my bed as if telling me goodbye. After a moment, I heard it cross the floor and make its way to my brother's bed, where it again stood for a short while. And as it moved towards the stairway door, it brushed against the bunk bed ladder and moved it. Only this time it didn't fall. The floorboards creaked and popped as it made its way to the stairway. As it climbed up the stairs, each step creaked and moaned as the entity slowly made its way up the stairs, then into the back room where the wheelchair was waiting. If this was the spirit of Bubba, eventually it found what it was looking for we never experienced anything further. At least not for several years anyway. A couple years later, my parents moved and took the wheelchair with them, storing it in an old building by the house. One day, my brothers Timmy and Nathan, my nephew, got the wheelchair out and took turns pushing each other around in it. And that night, both of them had the same exact nightmare about something chasing them in the wheelchair. My parents moved to Oakland Road and again took the wheelchair with them, placing it in a small storage building behind the house. It was forgotten about until one day Gary, one of the neighborhood kids, found it and dragged it out. Eventually, forgetting about what had happened earlier, Timmy and Gary pushed each other around in it and even got it out onto the highway. Wow.
Oh, God.
And rode it down the hill in front of
an
the
electric one?
I mean, these kids were like, "Hi, my name is
gosh,
Timmy. Welcome to Jackass." Both of them had frightening nightmares that night, and afterwards, neither of them would go anywhere near that wheelchair, claiming that it was haunted. The last time I saw it, it was folded up in the back of the old building. After my father passed away, my mother sold the house and moved to town, but this time the wheelchair did not go. Not sure exactly where it is now, and I don't really care to find out. I don't blame you there, Dewey. Don't blame
Yeah.
me.
Wow.
And then Kelly says we can send her a link.
Wow. What a story. I
That was
believe
good.
that's
Yeah.
accurate. That wheelchair would be at Goodwill so fast. Yeah, probably. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
I'm surprised they kept the wheelchair that long too. I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the sentimental value of it, or not wanting to get rid of it.
Amy says her ex saw a ghost at Fort Meigs near Toledo. 100%. I mean,
Pat says that wheelchair would be at the Goodwill so fast.
Yeah, that's what
And Amy agrees.
Yes.
Emma Will says, Pabs, my sis would be the one to buy it and get so haunted. She's always looking for a thrifty deal.
True.
Well, you see that wheelchair over in the corner? It's only $5. No, it's not haunted.
Hey, you could sell that thing on eBay as a haunted object.
Yeah, nowadays.
Now you
Uh,
All right, I think
that
Kelly,
is from
Black
Dewey's
Vegans.
book, Ghost Whispers, by the way, he says.
Kelly's getting ready to jump here with us. Oh yeah, Dewey has authored a few books. We'll need you to send us a link sometime where we can throw those out to people, and that way people can get a hold of some of the books, because you've got some really good stuff, and the Ghostly Whispers book is pretty interesting, because I've seen a couple of the things you posted about it. I need to get one myself. All right, I think Kelly is getting ready to jump in with us any second now. And remember, guys, if you got anything else you want to share, you can send it to us over on Facebook, or you can throw it right here in the comments, or just like we're doing with my wife, we can send you a link and you can jump on with us. This has been a really fun show so far.
Oh yeah,
everybody seems to be enjoying themselves, and
everybody
give me a Dogman story. Come on, someone Dogman.
Yes, now Deuster's got some Dogman stories.
Oh yeah, he's been out at LBL for like 2 weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did. He just got back from the LBL. He's been out there with our good friends over from Hellbent Holler, Jesse and Joe. And by the way, if you haven't checked out their stuff, go look them up on YouTube. It's Hellbent Holler is their YouTube address, or YouTube handle. Go look them up, like and subscribe. They are always getting into some really interesting stuff and doing some good research. There's the cover for Ghostly Whispers by Dewey Edwards.
You can find that on Amazon over there. I just pulled that off there. So
Amy says, "Oh, Dogman, exit stage left. I'd rather see a puppet in the woods. Too scary."
That's me. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it, Amy. 100%. I don't do the dog.
No, nope. That is one of the creepiest things, and like it's paranormal. There's no way around it. Like the stuff that people say it does it. And then the way, if you're looking into it, it looks into you. It seems like it's
weird. It's weird.
All right, here we go. There we are. There is lovely wife Kelly. Go ahead. You've got the floor, my dear.
Hey, I also don't do Dogman, so there's that.
look at your shirt is very apropos.
I know, right? It's like I did that on purpose. So, okay, I was going to tell the story about when we lived at the apartment complex and something threw my figurine across the floor. So, so at the time we were living at this apartment complex, and we were on the top floor, and the person who lived below us was just a whole bag of crazy, and like that's a story in itself that I'm not going to get into. But
Amy says hi, Kelly.
So we had gone over to Ron and Maria's house for a dinner and just hanging out and stuff. And we were doing a lot with geckos at the time. And like, if you're familiar with like crested geckos and stuff, they're like really temperature sensitive. So like they they typically are happiest between like 60 degrees and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Like 80 degrees is really pushing it. Not great. So we were just kind of hanging out and having a good time. And it was about like 10:30 or so at night. And normally I would like still be hanging out and like, oh yeah, let's hang out longer. Like it's fine. And
yeah, this was.
I looked at Joe and I was like, we're gonna have to go soon. He's like, are you okay? I said, no. I was on edge like the whole time, just had this really bad feeling, couldn't figure out why. Whole way home, I'm just like on edge. And the first thing we do when we get through the door is I go straight to the gecko room, which I never do. And I'm like, what is going on? And the temperature in the room got set up to like 85 degrees, which cooks geckos basically. Like they're gonna drop dead in like 80 to 90 degree weather. So I yell at my husband and I'm like, hey, something's wrong. Did you do this? And he says, no, I don't know what happened. So neither one of us had touched it. And somehow like this thing got set up to like 90, 80, 90 degrees. Yeah, it's like a little
full bore.
Yeah, it's like a little heater buddy. And it got set up like the whole way, like totally on the top.
Physical turn knob.
Yeah. Like you have to physically touch it and turn the knob, the dial, all that stuff to make it the way that you want it, right? Neither one of us had done it. We're the only two people that live there. There's no other way to do this. Like it's not something that like a power surge would do. You have to physically turn this knob. And so we're like hurrying up and like turning the crank and everything back down. I think, didn't we even open up a window?
Yeah, we opened up a window to help ventilate the room real quick because the way it, out in the wild, those temperatures aren't like terrible because there's wind blowing, it kind of will help modulate it. But in enclosures, when you have things in enclosures like that, the air doesn't move quite as well as it does outside. So
and it holds the heat.
Yeah, so we had to really act fast.
So you walked into another room, I think, to get like the box fan or something. And while you're doing that, I walked out of the room to go grab, I guess maybe a drink and walk back in the room. And I turned just in time to see, I think it was my Sailor Moon figurine.
Yep, it was one of your Sailor Moon statues.
Is what?
It was one of your Sailor Moons.
Yeah. It was on this wall shelf across the room. And it was like something literally physically grabbed it and flung it across the room. And it hit the other side of the room and hit the ground. There was nobody and nothing there. And so I turned and I was like, did you see that? And you weren't even in the room, right? You had
just
walked back in and it was on the ground. So yeah, that was a whole thing, and we never figured out like exactly what it was, but there's all kinds of weird stuff that happened the entire time that we were at the apartment. And that was just kind of like the I guess first thing that was really just like weirdest.
Well, go ahead while we got you here real quick. Tell them about what happened the night we had the fire outside, and me and you were sitting here and at the new house, and it was when you went from thinking I was a weird Bigfoot guy to like being like
me also being a weird Bigfoot person.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily that I didn't believe you about Bigfoot stuff, just that like I was like, there's no way. Like, people are just mishearing things. Like, there's no way that there's something this large and we just don't know where it's at. So I was a total skeptic. And we had a fire pit outside at our house. And we're just sitting out back. You actually were grilling something. I'm sitting and just enjoying the fire, enjoying my life. And all of a sudden, we hear like a big clack noise, and our dog starts freaking out and wanting to go inside. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So we let her inside, Braveheart.
Ha ha, Amy.
So, then behind our house, there's nobody that lives there. Like, it's just wilderness. And there is a slight ravine-ish kind of thing, like a little creek bed that runs the top of the mountain to the bottom. There's no way to get to it unless you live here. So while we are just enjoying the fire, I start hearing this sound that sounds like what I told my husband was like two drunk men talking. And it was like this, like, num, 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 num. And then another one from the opposite area was just going like, num, 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 num. And I was like, do you hear that? Like, that sounds like two drunk guys. And his eyes were huge. And he was like, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, whatever. So the longer it goes, the more I'm realizing this isn't English and it's not two drunk guys because you can't get out there at all. And
there's no 4-wheeler trails. There's no
way to get there. And like, you can't just go through like wilderness to get to it because like the only way over into it is like I think 5 miles one way, or you have to go through somebody's yard.
That you can come in.
And people on the mountain aren't going to take kindly to some stranger going through their yard, especially two drunk strangers. So while we're out there and we're just kind of listening, a rock gets chucked across the creek bank and lands, and I hear a thud, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but I'm very uncomfortable now. And then we heard a big whoop at that point too. That was not a normal animal whooping sound. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to follow the dog inside. I'm done.
Yeah, the dog was done like as soon as she heard what was going on in the forest. She was like, I'm good. Let's go inside. Started whining, wanting to go inside. And but yeah, the rock, I actually did find the rock. I went back out and it didn't land anywhere near us. So it wasn't like something was trying to throw something at us. It was just throwing it our direction.
Yeah. We just heard it like thunk across the creek bank. Like it was obviously like thrown across the creek bank.
And I went and found it, like it had sunk in the wet ground and was like kind of, and there were leaves like crumpled up around it and stuff. So I was like, this is it. So I definitely picked up the rock and brought it. And it's, I think it's back there on the shelf behind me now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's always some weird stuff that happens. And I think
it says the dog has the most sense of all of y'all.
Pabs had said you probably picked up a spirit at my house, par for the course. Thanks. That's good vote of confidence. You know, I try to keep them downstairs, but they get up sometimes. I don't.
He also said he needs us to come do an investigate anytime, man. You know, we're down.
Yeah. We can do that.
But yeah, it says the dog has more sense than all of y'all. Emily Will says Samuel, it was very similar to the Samurai chatter, but it seemed to be a little bit more organized than the Moorhead recordings.
Yeah.
And chatter.
Like it was right after that he actually brought up the Samurai Chatter video on YouTube and showed it to me. And he was like, does this sound familiar? And I was like, yeah, it's similar, but it's not the exact same, but that's definitely it. And he said, congratulations, you just became a Bigfooter. So well, that happened.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's a good time.
How are the kids doing?
Good. Rowan's saying, there's daddy. So he's watching on TV.
Kelly, wait, before you go, you are one of the remaining few who actually witnessed some strange occurrences that we had during the one sighting.
Farm with the baby crying.
August 21st.
Oh gosh. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one, huh?
You've never told your story.
We've never heard it straight from your mouth. No, we've told the story multiple times, but we've never heard it straight from you.
Okay. Well, I'll have to make this one quick because that baby's about to throw a temper tantrum.
Go. And we'll fill the rest in afterwards. Go.
Okay. Okay. So, gosh.
After we came back in and started telling you guys what we had experienced.
Yes. So Rowan was asleep at that point, which he's not a great sleeper, never has been. Even as a little baby, just not a great sleeper. So we had him in his little pack and play. He was asleep, like actually down for the night, asleep. And we were in the living room. Please stop. We were in the living room, and I kept hearing his cry, like his actual baby cry that he would make whenever he's upset. And I would get up, and I kept going back and checking on him, and he's still asleep, didn't even move, like hadn't rolled, hadn't cried in his sleep, nothing. And every time I left the room, it was maybe a minute, 2 minutes later, and we kept hearing him crying. Like, it was a dead on mimic of his cry, which just kind of freaked me out because, like, it was exactly the way that he would cry. So he didn't wake up. He was asleep for the night. And we basically tried to go to sleep right after that. And I kept feeling like something was watching me, which it literally in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's nobody around for like really miles. And there's no one that would be watching. There's nobody around, But I went around and I made sure that all the curtains were drawn, all the blinds were shut, because like I just had this very uncomfortable feeling, like somebody was watching me and like very on edge. Well, we found out later that, all of us that night had just awful sensations, awful like dreams. It was just a very uncomfortable sensation. And then I think, didn't you guys go outside and you heard like a yell? Yeah. So it was definitely not like the first encounter where like it just was kind of like they were having a good time. Turns out that anytime my family is up there, we always throw any leftover food out into the same area so that like scavengers can come get it, because we have a lot of like possums and we have a lot of like raccoons and stuff. And we hadn't been doing that while we were there. So, that was not a great experience, not a great situation.
Well, thanks for jumping on, sharing the story.
That's
I know
awesome,
that
Cal.
Tom has maxed out on your joining us here.
Yeah, both children are now about to throw a fit. So
yeah, go tend to the little ones, and I'll be up here in a bit.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. It was a good job.
Anytime.
Yeah. Bye.
There we go. Spooky had to leave. He had a little something going on, so he had to bail out on us there. But we'll get him back some other time. It'll be a great show. Get him back again. Jimmy, thanks for joining us tonight. It was a blast. Welcome anytime.
So to backstory that a little bit, we should probably touch upon that for those who may actually not know the story, I guess. That had occurred literally after me and Joe and I had came back inside from basically an encounter with something.
Yep.
Multiple somethings, I think. I don't think it was just one something. I think it was multiple somethings that were down in this valley. We were hearing them, and it culminated in me actually seeing something. I don't know what it was to this day. Just a large, massive shadow with a very small head, ducking down behind some grass. And the next morning, of course, we thought, I was out there and I thought, well, this is easy to explain away. It was just a trick of light and shadow. But then Joe demonstrates the fact that whatever it wasn't just ducking behind this very short grass. There was a drop off behind it. So whatever was there had just simply backed down the hill, and it looked like it had ducked down behind the grass. So there was actually something there is what it comes down to. I just don't know what that was.
How tall was it, Ron, do you think?
From what I had seen, this thing was massive. Its shoulders were, good Lord. I mean, you're looking at just from where I was at, looking out, I would say that its shoulders were anywhere 3.5 foot across, man. I mean, this thing was massive.
Wow.
And I only seen it from just midsection up. That's why it kind of looked like it was, because it was ducking down as his light comes over. You'll hear more about this story. We actually did a little bit on this, and it's a pretty detailed story. Honestly, it's very long.
Yeah,
and
there was a lot that went into it, because there was the day prior.
It's weird stuff.
And then the Boy Scout was the day after.
It was just weird. This whole thing occurred in this weird moment of time where everything just seemed to be almost synchronized in a weird way. It was very strange, and I don't know what I feel about that, but I just know it happened, and we documented it. So,
hey Ron, is this by chance close to the time that you and your wife had that DM encounter?
No, that was actually last year.
Deuster, we'll catch you. We'll catch
Hey,
you
Dewey,
in chat
thanks.
next time, and
Thanks for
go
dropping by,
enjoy
buddy.
us from the recliner.
See you, Dewey.
But yeah, that was actually last year when when that occurred, and that was just on an honest to goodness hike. That wasn't looking for anything, didn't have any equipment. You know, we we're just walking across this bridge, and she saw something. You know, what was funny is I just was talking about Hellbent Holler, and I was talking about how Jesse and Joe had, you know, we're doing this research in the LBL, and I mentioned the name, and I hear no footsteps behind me, and she's back there looking at the bridge, looking up looking up this hollow, and I'm like, well, what's going on? And she said, oh, nothing. I didn't see anything. I'm like, oh no, we don't do that. What did you see? And she tells me she saw this big, it looked like a furry, big wolf-like thing, whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. Let's go. And I don't talk about that. I mean, that's literally something we don't even talk about when we're in the woods anymore. We don't mention that name.
Kelly says, thank you all for hanging in there with my stories. We appreciate you having it.
Great stories. Great.
It's the first time you've ever been on Wild and Weird Radio on purpose.
Yep.
Hey, so one that I would like to hear again. Do either of you guys remember that ghost story that Wayne told during that Halloween episode a few years ago?
Which one? Because there were 2 Halloween episodes he was here for.
It was the one about that incident in the cave.
Oh, that was that story. That's a rough one. I'd never be able to tell it properly and do it justice, but
that really scarred Wayne.
It did. It really did.
Chills when I heard it.
It really scarred him. Let me find the episode for that for you guys who don't know what we're talking about.
That was the first Halloween special.
It was, wasn't it?
Yep.
Let me find it.
Rule 1 of Dogman is we don't talk about Dogman. That's exactly right.
Exactly right. Thank you. You're absolutely right.
Same rule as demons.
Emily Wills says to Kelly, I really enjoyed the random. Stop that. Totally relate. Amy, thanks for hanging out with us, Amy. It's been great having you. We're here every Thursday. We're live anytime you want to jump on, or I'll get a hold of you. We'd love to have you on the podcast on the regular show as well. That'd be a good time. Go ahead and get some rest and get up early. Thanks for joining us, Amy.
An episode about Bigfoot and dinosaurs sounds like fun to me.
You're right.
Bigfoot and dinosaurs? Is that what I just heard?
I think so.
Okay. I mean, I've heard worse. That's good. Trying to find this episode. Give you guys a link. Because, yeah, you're right. It is a pretty chilling story.
So while we're waiting, I've got another Bigfoot report from the archives. And this happened at the Pipestem Nature Center. One of the restaurant workers was working in early morning, just before breakfast. So thinking around 5, 6 o'clock a.m. And they had a sighting on the edge of the nature trail by the pond. Abby was her name. She reported that she walked by this trail every morning before work for 3 years until this event. Then she witnessed a tall, thin, dark creature shoveling water into its mouth at the pond. Upon seeing it, she screamed and said the creature stood up, and they had this brief stare-off. After a couple seconds, the creature slowly turned around and walked off, practically unfazed by her presence. But obviously irritated because it screamed.
I don't have a clue what that might be.
Yeah, I mean, it was. She thinks it kind of fit the bill for like a Bigfoot because that's what she said it looked like visually. It was covered in hair, but it wasn't like the big, bulky. It was more of a taller, skinnier, hair-covered creature.
Maybe it was a teenage one.
It could be a younger one. Is it really a Bigfoot sighting if the Bigfoot is invisible? I don't know. It would technically, like, if you're hearing activity and things like that, it falls in different tiers. Like you've got your class A sighting, which is, visual sighting. And then you've got auditory sightings and stuff like that follow after.
I think the invisible ones might actually just be Glimmer Man. And people just aren't catching the shimmer maybe because of the light or something like that. Or maybe there's a lack of light and they can't see the glimmer.
No, man.
That right there is an episode that we need to jump on. Glimmer Man is freaky.
I'd say that's just, Project Bluebeam.
Then we've got a few people over here on the Facebook chat. I'm trying to look at them and see their stuff. We got Jeff Byers over there.
Where?
Jeff's one of our best friends. This he's like a brother to us. And he's over here listening over in Facebook land. Then Anita is saying there are smaller Bigfoot, especially in PA. Yeah, there are. You've got the Albatwitch, which is some people think it's like a young Bigfoot, or it could be like
Grassman's a little smaller.
I think it's all perception. That's just me.
This was Jeff, by the way. Jeff said maybe she was meant to have that encounter, and I think so. A lot of the longer I'm doing this, the more there does seem to be some kind of a connection to the people and the sighting, and that it's almost as if, especially with Bigfoot, like it's almost like it lets you see it, if that makes sense. Like it, especially in that case, like there's no way that it didn't know she was coming, knew the routine, and probably been there as many times as she had, if not, and obviously probably more. And it allowed the encounter to take place.
Well, Pabs was right, 100% right, I think, when he said something about, you just took a spirit home or whatnot. It kind of works that way because really, Joe started having these encounters literally right after we started talking about this stuff and looking into it. And
Adam is saying maybe she saw Nick Nolte.
Interesting.
I can tell you what it was. It was
maybe
George the Animal Steel after a match one night. He was cooling down in the creek.
Yeah. So Anita says my first encounter was like that, but it was almost 30 feet from me. 3 things making noise. It's interesting. That's really interesting.
It's working then.
I missed the Sky Daddy episode. I was so confused just now.
It's going to get worse.
It is, because this is going to be a running thing on the live. Forever.
Tune in. You've got to watch the Sky Daddy episode. You've got to. It's
going to be our new fake cult.
It really might be.
Anita says, dude, I have been an urban legend because of all the weird stuff that happens around me all of the time. So you're definitely you're one of those weird magnets. Yeah. We might need to try get a hold of us sometime and fill us in, because we're actually working on
it's not
that
show. Strange to me at all. So
we're working on another show. We did one in the past where it was called Weird Magnets, and we kind of touched on the topic real briefly, but we wanted to revisit it with accounts from people. And we'd probably be able to get you on the show at some point to do that. We met at the UFO festival. Sweet. Are you? Tell me you're coming. We're going to be back again this year. You need to come down and hang out at the table.
We'll be back. Yeah.
I'm
going to be bringing the transmitter, I believe, and just putting an end to all this silliness once and for all. I'm just going to make them land in the parking lot.
There you go.
Yeah, no more speculation. Of course, the skeptics would still say it's just a weather balloon. I don't know. We might get the parking lot bombed. Better not do that. Never mind.
The parking lot would get destroyed.
Told you I was never going to let it drop ever. So, any way I can do it, I'm going to do it.
Maybe you should do that at the UFO convention. Just let a balloon up and see what happens.
That'd be fun. Why not?
All right, so I got a UFO report for you guys from the archive that was sent in. This happened in West Virginia.
Okay.
It was dusk and storms were approaching, but the sky was clear. I had just got home and I was exiting our van. I saw something just coming over the hill and it was bright orange. This is why I grabbed it, Ron. I joked saying, "Oh, look, a UFO." But as it approached, it was very quiet, low and fast. My parents dismissed it to be an airplane. However, I don't think it was. This thing was low flying, but fast and silent. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before. This took place back in 2021, and it was, let's see, it was in Barbersville, West Virginia.
Oh,
Okay. Wow.
So that kind of goes along with the one that you guys had the other night.
Yeah, that was really weird. Yeah, I forgot about that to even talk about that. If those who don't know, me and Dave Spinks, he had went down to the Mothman Museum to take care of some business and wanted me to come along with him. I'm like, why not? We'll go down. And which was very cool, Joe, by the way. I got to see a little bit more of the area. We need to go back, found some of the ruins and whatnot there. Cool. Yeah, it was really cool. This is actually, yeah, there it is. If I can bring it up, I'm not sure why it's not coming up. Oh, well, anyway, the road's back there. The road's back there.
It's the background now.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, you made it the background.
Oh, well, anyway, that was the road, the actual road.
Bring it back up.
I got to put it over here. I will. I'm going to put it back over here for you.
I was going to say, because I could put us all on one side. We'd at least be able to see 3/4 of the screen.
Nah. But anyway, as we were coming back, we had seen apparently whatever that was in the sky. And I don't know, man. It was a very small orange orb, little. I thought, well, it had to be a drone or something, right? But anyway, here's the actual road where the old Mothman chased him.
Oh, yeah.
Straight that is. I mean, that's just perfect for drag racing, which is what they were doing back in those days. And right off to the left there is where the North Power Plant, or one of the power plants, it might be the South, I'm not sure, but one of the power plants was. But if it was the North Power Plant, then that's exactly where it was, But anyway, we saw that weird little light, or I saw it, and I was like, what is that? I could tell it was right over the actual area. It wasn't in the sky too far up. It wasn't like on the horizon or anything. And he's like, I don't know. And should we circle back around? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we circled back around to come back and add it to try to get it. And it wasn't there then, of course. But I got a pretty good video of it and stabilized it. And it is what it is. But I've heard no one mention anything. My guess is someone was playing with a drone. It didn't have any blinking lights, though. That's the weird part. No blinking lights. And it just looked like one orange, light.
Adam Good says, I've had a couple orange red orbs.
Yeah, that's how my whole thing started. But wherever they are, they're real. I don't know. They're not always drones, that's for sure, right?
Yeah.
What else we got?
Let's see.
Massachusetts. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Here's another listener, Ike. I don't know if you're out there hanging out with us, but there was a event that took place 6/15/21 at 3:37 a.m. looking west. He had set up a GoPro for night lapse photos, and he was just taking some sky photos. Whatever, he's into all kinds of stuff. And he had the camera facing west over his house. The camera was set for shutter speed of 30 seconds. The camera ran from around 8:30 p.m. to 8:30-ish a.m. And in this film that he collected, he sent that over to us to review. The movements of this one object in the frame was
Odd.
erratic. It was weird. So that was a really, really interesting one.
Yeah, we had a couple like that. We managed to catch a few ourselves that spurred on our our project that we'll be doing.
We actually just caught one the other day.
Yeah. So it's still there. It's still happening, guys. Just to let you know, we're still catching these things, and hopefully we'll have a special one that coming up in the near future.
Did you watch that new CNN release?
Which one?
Ron, the video that was, I think it dropped yesterday. It was that CNN release where that
pilot,
the Navy pilot was coming out saying stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see some of the thermal footage that they were showing?
I saw the originals. I saw.
There was not the Tic Tac one, not the gimbal.
That's all I saw. Yeah.
There were two other clips that they had shown that are way less common.
Yeah.
But if you go and you watch the one, specifically the one that aired on CNN, two of their clips look almost identical.
Well, I mean, that's what it looked like
to the clips that we've captured.
Yeah, I mean, what we caught looked exactly like I don't know if it was I think it was gimbal, the one where the locking bracket, he puts the auto track on. That looks remarkably like what we caught.
It does,
and it's kind of scary in that respect because we called it way before. Now the news is starting to pick back up on this stuff. It's like, well, look, these are common. That's kind of what we said. It's like, if you can point a thermal at the sky and catch these things, then it's common. They're always there. We don't know what they are, but they're always there.
Can't always see them either.
No,
you can't see them with your naked eye.
You don't see them.
At least not like, I know the pilots they were, but they're also like flying at the same altitude. But we're down on the ground. You're not going to see them unless you're using some kind of equipment.
Yeah, it's just not really possible, to be honest. So we had talked about some of the goodies that we got blessed with from Bethesda, right? Remember that?
Yeah, let's get into that one.
Let's go into that, because I'm going to flash up some stuff, and I want audience reactions here. And I mean, I better see hearts, I better see thumbs, I better see something on these, because they did some good stuff, and I think they deserve a little recognition. I'm going to throw it up, and you guys tell me what the first thing you see is. So this is from the new season. There are seasons in the game in Fallout 76. There are game boards that you play, and they're always themed a little different. Well, this time, the next board that we're on right now is it's about a cryptid hunter. That's the story. And it's Rip Daring and the cryptid hunt. And here we see a brand new rendition of Mothman based off of the actual statue, rather than the that thing that they considered to be Mothman.
That's cool.
It's very cool, isn't it? But it gets better. little homage there. This is your new character that will come live in your camp. Notice that last name,
Scarberry.
That's pretty cool.
I thought that was really cool. They put a
nice little homage.
Nice little homage. You notice his clothing.
Yep.
It's the 1950s jacket with the jeans. I mean,
very Archie.
Yeah. And we got
the
Ogwa.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
Look at that.
There's an Ogwa. Yeah, right. I don't know why that's there, but we know what it is. There's a squonk.
The squonk, but we've never had those in West Virginia.
No,
but
it's okay. It's okay.
Popular.
They throw a lot of stuff at us that we don't have, but we have that one. That's a pretty good rendition, I think.
I dig it.
Yeah. But here's the real kicker.
Oh, yes.
Here's the real kicker. That is actually made like a figure. It's not just part of the drawing on the board. So fingers crossed, in the future, maybe we might finally get to see the big guy in the game. And it's a very original rendition, I think. I really like the way that they did that. That's really cool. It's original. I like it. What else we got? Oh yeah, this is, you can see him. He's looking at the big,
hot on the trails, looking at the footprints.
Look at the footprints.
So he's got Flo from Progressive with him.
He's not wearing the right hat though.
Right, he's not.
He has Flo from Progressive with him.
He does. Yeah, that's Flo back there.
Oh, that's great.
I do believe that this is the Greenbrier Ghost. I think that's what we're seeing here.
Might be it. Yeah.
It's either Greenbrier Ghost or the White Lady.
I'd say that's probably Greenbrier because
maybe Thurman.
They're going through like all the
in the Greenbrier area. Oh, finally.
I thought you'd appreciate this.
I
really appreciate this one more than any of them so far. They nailed it. I mean, I think they did a great job on that. They even went as far as to make sure the eyes were yellow, if you notice that.
Yeah, it looks pretty accurate.
Yep. I shall not say the name, but yes, it's there.
Dude.
It's Puppy Dude.
Dude.
Puppy Dude is in the board. But my absolute favorite one, the one that made me, my eyes went to it as soon as I saw it. And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" And you probably could have heard me scream like a little girl, honestly.
Oh yes.
This, I'm gonna have to go upload 76 onto my PS5.
Now, that right there tells me that they actually listened to our stories. I don't know why Squonk's there, but we'll live with that because we got Indrid freaking Cold. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Finally.
And we got Bigfoot. I mean, we got the other stuff too, but let's be real.
Cold, Bigfoot, a good Mothman.
Yep, and a decent vegetable man. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, the vegetable man's cool. I hope that we get to see that in game. Like that's gonna be really cool.
Fingers crossed. They have done things like this before, and those things do eventually end up in the game. So maybe if there's enough people who show interest, that we'll get at least some of these. At least I want Bigfoot. The only thing I can think of that they don't want Bigfoot in the game for might be this. A lot of people don't really want to hunt Bigfoot. And if you've played Fallout 76, you hunt the cryptids. Like you actually kill Mothman. It's not really Mothman though. They made a clever little way. If anyone who ever played the game, you can't kill the real Mothman. You only kill the Mothman, the evil Mothmans, which are like an evil spirit or something that the Mothman cult has summoned. It's taking the form of Mothman. So they found a neat little wrap around that. Because
Rockstar Games, there's a final, like after you beat Red Dead Redemption, there's this whole Bigfoot campaign, and you actually go kill a whole family of Bigfoot.
See, I don't think they want to do that. That's what I'm trying to get at. Now, Sheep Squatch,
storyline on that too.
But see, here's the thing with Bigfoot, like it doesn't have to be something that you actually hunt. They can deviate from their path and just have Bigfoot be something you see that you can't kill. Like if you want to do that route, if you don't want to kill it.
That's the Mothman. That's the one that stalks you. The what's it called?
You see it in the woods, walking through the trees, and then you can maybe go get up close and get a good picture or something of it.
It's gone, just like the real thing. And which I thought they did a great job on that too. But yeah, that's the wise Mothman or whatever it's called. But yeah.
Anita brings up a great point here. Is it Indrid or is it the Smiling Man? The Grinning Man is often blurred into Indrid Cold, but they're not the same. I don't know why pop culture has done this. I mean, it attributes some of it to
it's just a misrepresentation of the original description.
It is
that he was smiling,
and because the real Smiling Man or Grinning Man happened, I think, up in New Jersey. But they copy pasted over onto Indrid Cold.
Yeah, they never said his smile was creepy. He just liked to smile.
Right.
He looked like you or me. He looked like an ordinary person. That was, how Woody described him. He didn't say anything weird.
Jeff says, "Freaking awesome."
Yes, it is.
Jeff, we need to get you on the shows again soon, man. It's about that time of year to bring you in.
It's been a while.
And Anita, you're exactly right. It is a morphing of the old tales into the news and into new stories.
Right. And the only problem that we have with that now is that so many people get their news from TikTok and Instagram that they don't really know the true stories. And, that's kind of important.
Maybe they can make it to where you're hunting it with a camera. That's plausible. They could do that. Yeah, the NAWAC, which was once the most active pro hunt and kill a Bigfoot, has switched gears in the last year and a half, and now instead of being armed with a marlin, they're going out with cameras. They're taking the camera approach. They're going to try to get video and camera footage.
Well, we could totally have that in the game, because there are missions where you do have to go out and shoot with your camera certain things. You don't kill them, you shoot them. Like you actually take the.
There was a Mothman quest like that, wasn't there?
There's several of them. Yeah,
there's a lot.
Do that too. Yeah, like it's quest lines. So yeah, we could totally see it, and I really do hope they do it. Everybody needs to just I don't know. We need to start like a petition to get Bigfoot in the game. That's all I'm saying. I mean, Entered Cole would be awesome to have in the game too, but
Dogman is the new in-game boss of 76.
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
Anita saying Smiling Man is all over the Appalachian Witchcraft pages right now, posting from West Virginia. I'm going to blame y'all's podcast.
Now, Indrid deserves his own spotlight, and we've talked about that before. That's why we did our show on it. Yeah, there you go. It's just a fascinating story. It's an amazing story, and it's a very underrated story. And man, I know everybody's like, Woody just made that up. Man, no, Woody wouldn't have made that up, man. I mean,
there could have been some embellishments here and there.
Embellishments are one thing.
There's no way he could have fabricated the whole thing.
No, he was not that good of a science fiction writer. There's no way. And who's to say that that's what it all looked like anyway? We've showed at this point that there's evidence that seems to be pointing to the fact that these things can make us see them however we want, interpret whatever we want. I mean, they can put these vivid dreams into your mind. These images may have actually been in his mind. He may have thought it and believed it absolutely as he saw it, and that's what it was. It was injected there. So it's very possible.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it didn't happen. There's just too many weird things now.
Andrew reminds me of my friend Paul. It's not even funny. Well, if he hops into a hurricane glass shaped UFO,
you'll know. You'll know that. Hey, who is going to be on the show next week? Oh, we got two hearts up there. I see two hearts.
We've got our good friend Ike Fauber.
Yep, we've got
is joining us.
Adventures in Dreamland and Beyond is going to be an amazing little episode that we do. Not Area 51, actual Dreamland. Dream.
Yep, sleep studies and in the dreaming stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. So we intend to go into some good stuff, and I actually had some great Bigfoot encounters as well.
Yeah,
by the way. So he's been into quite a bit of stuff.
Sounds like Ike's a bit of a magnet for that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we have another guest host that'll be coming up. Is it the next Thursday?
The week after, yep.
It's next Thursday, right? Yeah, yep. Next Thursday. That's going to be Teresa. Teresa of Teresa's Haunted Histories of the Tri-State will be joining us and sitting over there in the chair that has apparently disappeared now that Jimmy's gone. But where Jimmy was, that's around
somewhere here. Brandon's going to move a little that way, and then
maybe right there. I don't know. Who knows where she'll be, but she'll be on the board, and she'll have some interesting stories to tell us, I'm sure, because she's seen some stuff, done some stuff, and wrote about some stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody out there have anything else that you would like to say? Have you enjoyed the show tonight? That's what I really want to know. Have you enjoyed the show tonight? If you have, let us know. That's why we keep doing these things.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess if you haven't enjoyed it, you wouldn't still be here. So I don't know
why
I asked that question.
We have a good group that watches with us live, and then they always pick up a lot in the replays.
Hey, Chris is here. Adulting axolotl. Chris.
Amazing show tonight, guys. Thanks, man.
They make some cool little things like this invisible alien.
Teresa saying yes, awesome show. Hey, can't wait to have you on next week. It's going to be a good time.
There you go. That's
into
Chris's,
all the stuff with you.
That's Chris's work right there. They make some really cool little things. Chris also is our official outfitter for patches, by the way.
Play Fallout on PC, please.
Oh.
I mean, I bought it. I'd have to buy it again.
I'm actually getting ready to buy it for VR.
76?
Yeah. No.
4.
Oh.
Yeah.
4 for VR is really good.
4 VR. Yeah, I got my cable here. I'm going to set all that up. So yeah, Pabs, you want to grab a VR system? We'll go in there and do it. No, it's a single player, unfortunately.
Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us this week. It's been a great show. Thanks for all of the stories that were shared and all the guests that jumped in. And Jimmy from over at Appalachian Spooktaculars.
What is? Let me get this thing up here. There you go. I made that just for him.
There we go, Jimmy. Again, guys, go check out Spooky Appalachia. Go head over to their YouTube channel and go to the Facebook channel, like and share and tell everybody how much you love their stuff, because he puts out great content dang near daily and puts a lot of work into it, y'all. So go give him a like and a follow. Check him out. If you want to hear more of Wild and Weird Radio and you just can't get enough, you can find us anywhere podcasts are found. You can go to wildandweirdwv.com and click the podcast link, and you can listen to all of our backlog there too. So if you don't have a smartphone that you do podcasts on, you can go do it straight from your website and listen to us in the background. Remember, YouTube.
Oh, hey, post that link up if you can. The link that I sent over in the private chat for the story from Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to put that up there for you guys because it is a pretty... We're expecting these, like, just, I'm reading, like, basically, the Greenbrier ghost story. And then I think Joe tells a little spooky story. And Wayne just, like, by the time he's done, we're just like...
Yeah.
There you go, guys. It's right there in the comments.
That.
You can go check it out. Yeah, Wayne flushed us with that story. Like, we're just telling some fun, spooky stories. And then Wayne comes in and is just, like, drops the hammer. And we're like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the right episode. If not, let me know, and I'll search it down. But I'm pretty sure that is the episode that we did that on.
That should be it.
Yeah, I think so.
And remember, you guys keep checking us out on YouTube. Keep watching for more stuff. We've got some really interesting content that we were testing this past week.
The numbers are going up and up and up. Just keep watching. Get those numbers up so we can get more stuff put out here for you guys. And
and we're really close to hitting this specific benchmark.
Share it
where
with your
it will
friends.
Broadcast us out there in a broader scope. And we're so close. We're so close. And we're getting there every day. And it's all because of you guys helping us out and sharing around to your friends. And it's a good time, y'all.
We are indeed getting there. And there's where you can find the rest of us. Also got a punch in Brandon there. You got to give me your
Horror Brandon over on the Twitter birds.
Yeah, Instagram is Brandon Writes Horror.
Okay.
So definitely go check him out on Instagram and on Twitter. And then, of course, I'm Joe. He's Ron. Skinwalker Sculpts over on Instagram. Lanham Ron on Instagram. Ron is the Mothman artist on TikTok, and I'm just me on TikTok.
And I'm back officially on being able to broadcast on Instagram now.
Good deal.
And Facebook. That's so
I'm trying to figure out my life and get things sorted because there's so much going on right now. I have not had time to post
Joe's
anything.
Expecting the alien invasion, so he's trying to get things right.
It's just been so wild.
Sounds good. Any day now, man. I mean, you saw the episode when we laid it out, pretty much spot on, and we just got to get that confirmation now, and we're there. We're good. We got it.
I'm getting it close. We've almost got some stuff figured out to where I won't have any more hiccups and things will be running smooth again.
Hiccups. Well, there are those.
Yep. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. And thank you to Sky Daddy McConaughey, especially. All right. Good night and stay wild and weird, everybody.
Really? That's how you're going to end this show? That's so unlike you. That is no way that you're going to end this show like that. It's not going to happen.
Best way to end it.
He's not really going to do that. Are you really going to end the show that way? There you go. It's what people pay to come here and see for free.
Right. So remember, y'all, if you can swim, there's always potatoes. No. Stay wild and weird, everybody.